Yep, it's another ditch witch. Look, it's Goof Ethan. Yeah. So, what's Goof Ethan doing? Tell us, Goof Ethan, what are you doing?
Taking off this bucket.
Why are you taking off the bucket, Ethan? Because that cylinder needs repacked, Ethan. And
really
for some reason, it's not locking whenever they turn it to that side. So, we're gonna have to, or it is locking. Either way, something is doing what it's not supposed to over here. We're gonna figure it out. So, with that said, the next time you see this, Ethan will have all of this disassembled and we'll be ready to repack that particular hydraulic cylinder. So, all right, here we go. Ethan, what did you do to it?
What was necessary?
What was necessary?
Yes.
Well, there you go, folks. He said what was necessary. Maybe it was. All right, so blade's off, pedestal swing is off, cylinder's off. Okay, so what we're going to do next is rebuild the cylinder, and then we're going to come back with our rebuilt cylinder. And we are going to check out this part, and we're going to see if it latches in both directions. And if there's something there we need to replace, then we'll address that before we get the rest of this put back together. But what I'm going to do is put my cylinder back in its place, screw the lines on so that we can work it a little bit, you know, and turn it around, and then we'll see if it actually latches after the hydraulic cylinder can actually, you know, hold its drink the whole way. And if not, we'll see what it needs. So with that said, next time you see this, we'll have a rebuilt cylinder. Okay, folks, so as you can see, we've had to take off the loader, or the plow frame weights and all of that, and we went ahead and pulled our radiator, which is over there, and that's got us access to our plow hydraulics and the rotating assembly there. So what we are going to do next is we are going to pull our bolts out of this and hopefully pull this up and out of there and get us a look. And we'll see if we need to pull these cylinders or not and put them back. We may need to pull them off and have them reworked. The customer said he had them worked in the recent past, but who knows? We're just gonna have to see what's going on, because for whatever reason it doesn't lock out where he wants it to when he needs it to, and it doesn't stay level enough to, you know, grade, so you can't really backfill with the blade. So all right, we're gonna get set up, tear this the rest of the way down, and I guess that's when you'll see this again. All right, folks, so we got it apart. And if you're curious what we found, well, let me show you. Because whenever you look on the schematics for this bad dude, should you, it's only going to show you two cylinders, the one on the bottom and the one up here. But in reality, there's one down there and there's two up here on opposing sides. Okay? Now, also, if you're curious, if there's a bearing here and maybe you're having trouble turning the blade in a direction and locking it and getting it to stay, or, you know, maybe it doesn't stay level or whatnot, one of your cylinders has to be bad to get you to that point. Okay, so with that said, we're gonna get all the cylinders rebuilt. But as you can see here, okay, it looks, you know what, that actually might be a form of bearing. You know what, that kind of is. Yeah, that is a bearing. Huh. Okay, so there, yeah. Alright, maybe it ain't. I just can't tell if it's a bearing or not. If it is, it's locked up tight. Okay, so I'm gonna have to look it up to see if that's actually a bearing. At first I didn't think it was, but as you can see, it kind of looks like there is a bearing there, like maybe there's a carrier there. So we're gonna have to check that and see. But as you can see, all of this looks really good. I don't see anything wrong there other than just it needing to be cleaned up. So we're gonna check and see if there's a bearing there, and if so, see if we need to replace it. Till next time. All right, folks, it is a different day. It is hot, it is humid. We've got a dead gum lake around our equipment. It's unpleasant. We're gonna figure it out though somehow, I guess. We're gonna try to work with it. If y'all are curious what it's like to live in Texas, at least in North Texas, in the 2020s, well, I think we can go ahead and have a discussion about how we have a monsoon season. I hear you talking. I'm not wrong. Arizona's already calling it a monsoon season, same time of the year we have it, and look at all the rain we're getting. Monsoon season. You heard it from me first. I'm just saying it. So, if you're curious, it is not a bearing. This ain't no bearing. This is a bronze bushing. And to hear it from Ditch Witch, that dude don't wear out. Look, that it's harder than you think, okay? It is. It's harder than you think. So, bronze bushing. I bet you're not greasing it. You know why you're not greasing it? Because they put the grease fitting in a stupid place. So let me go show you where that Zerk's at. Because this Zerk fitting, I bet they could have found a better spot. Where? I don't know where the better spot should have been, but I know where it is. And it's not a great location. So, you're probably having a hard time greasing this dude. But, if we flip this dude over, bam, there's your Zerk right there. See it? Hard to get to, isn't it? But if that's not greasing, it's, you know, all popping and creaking and not going into positions, that's why. So, we're going to get this dude cleaned up, try to get it back together without laying in this dadgum lake. Let's see what we can do. Let's go. All right, folks, it is a different day. And we're here at the Ditch Witch and getting ready to, we've already got our plow and everything back on it. This unit's mostly back together, as you can see. But something that we needed to address, we had a little bit of a hydraulic leak on the front cylinder, and what it wound up being was just a common O-ring. I've already removed the fitting, but I thought this is a learning lesson time. So, you know, be a good time to kind of walk y'all through something. So, with that said, here's our fitting. And as you can see, there's two O-rings. Well, this O-ring here was so bad that it just, yeah, there's next to nothing left of it. And while we're at it, we went ahead and replaced this O-ring. Now, what I kind of wanted to walk y'all through, because I think this is somewhat important. Give me a second. I'm going to get Christian to come man the camera. Christian, come over here. Snatch up the camera. There you go. Kind of. There you go. And here's our O-ring sets. Now, what I'm going to show you really fast is there's a couple of dimensions that you need to be, or three actually, that you need to be taking into account of whenever you're busy sourcing your O-rings for your project. Okay, the inner diameter, the outer diameter, and the shoulder width. Okay, these are very important for you to consider. So if you're not familiar with your particular piece of equipment and you're not for sure what your piece of equipment is going to call for, I recommend that you get you two different sets of O-rings. Okay, you're going to have your standard O-ring set, and your metric O-ring set. Okay, and it really is going to matter because they differ. Okay, the metric O-ring set, what I'm going to tell you is the metric O-ring set, the shoulder is slightly thicker than in a standard kit. Okay, so whenever you're comparing the difference between the two, what we found is whenever we took this O-ring off of that fitting and went to compare it, and we went to the standard kit, this would be the closest, and they are very, very close in inner and outer diameter. However, the standard O-ring is ever so slightly smaller around on the outer diameter than the standard is slightly smaller around on the outer diameter than the metric, and the metric has a thicker shoulder. So with that said, you really need to pay attention whenever you're selecting your O-ring, so make sure that you get the proper one, because you could replace the O-ring with the wrong O-ring and then you're right back where you started. So with that said, that's got that little lesson out of the way. We're going to throw this cylinder back on and see if we can't get this thing serviced. Till you see us again. Alright folks, so I tried to shoot this on my phone because I forgot the GoPro like an idiot. But anyway, we'll do this again. It's okay. We're here on our ditch witch. As you can see, everything's it's torn back down. Why, you ask? Well, come to find out. Wait, got traffic. Come to find out, one of the top cylinders up here was broken internally. I should have just went ahead and had it tested. Okay, so let me bother to point this out. If you're doing this job, go ahead and have them tested. Seriously, probably just go ahead and have them rebuilt, because if that blade, come to find out, is juddering to one side and it won't turn, and you can get somebody to help you whenever you're pulling the lever, just have them pull one end of it the direction you're trying to go, and it moves, you broke your cylinder internally. Maybe you hit a big rock or a piece of concrete or a tree stump or something, I don't know, but you broke the bolt loose from the piston on that that's at the end of the rod that slides in and out of the cylinder. So now it's just bypassing internally and possibly hurting your cylinder. So with that said, you need to address that. Now, if you didn't label your lines, it happens. You should have though. If you didn't label this madness, I'll try and remember to post a link to this diagram so that you ain't having to try to get it from some silly picture. I'll see if I can remember to do that. No promises though. So with that said, now we're gonna put all this back together. Oh, there is something else to point out. When you take this out and the cylinders out, you're gonna find out that you can't get the cylinder is disconnected from that part that's going to be up here, and you're going to be like, what the crap, what do I do? Because you'll get the pins to drop out from the bottom back there where you have that opening, but up here is a plate. So your only option is to pull them all out at once, okay? And then set it down somewhere and get your cylinders off by getting those pins out. It's not the smartest design, okay? I'm just gonna say it. Ditch Witch, Toro, that's who owns them. There's better ways. There's better ways, okay? Get your engineers on that so people ain't gotta work so hard. All right, we are gonna go ahead and throw this thing together. Maybe you'll get some time lapse today, who knows? I don't know if you just saw that.
I got a bath.
He got a bath. Not a good bath. He got a hydraulic bath. You don't want that bath.
Just in the hair, but you know.
Yeah.
Hair.
So, yeah, be careful. Because whenever you lower that blade again, it sprays everywhere. I'm just trying to tell you, so, yeah. Anyway, back to time lapse. Alright folks, so it's another day, hot day. I'm a sweaty mess, I'm already dirty. And listen, do y'all hear that? The beautiful sounds of Texas. Listen to that mockingbird. What beautiful music. Ditch winch is ready, folks. With that said, let me grab my shades and we'll give it a view. Ethan, make sure you get that bucket. And folks, just like that, this ditch witch is back to being top notch. It's serviced up, it's ready to go back in the field and let its owner get that cash. So with that said, thanks for watching Vintage Diesel Equipment Service, and we will see you in the next video.